The national petition is of great importance, as the Hungarian position has always been clear. We condemn the Russian attack, accepted the refugees coming from Ukraine, and provided humanitarian aid. But it has also always been clear that we are on the side of peace. We want the quickest possible ceasefire and peace in Ukraine. We have made it clear that this war is not our war. We are not willing to send soldiers and weapons, and we will not pay for Ukraine. I know that I have the capabilities to identify the decision-making process, and we sanction those appropriately who participated significantly in making this decision and in the forced conscriptions. We are facing a serious case here because the individual was repeatedly declared unfit due to severe heart disease, then subsequently was dragged off the street and sent to training without regard to his previously acknowledged heart disease by the draft boards, where he lost his life during training. So here now we did everything that can be done in this specific case in relation to the exclusion. But of course, we will continue to do everything we can. It is not acceptable, I say again, even in a country at war, to enlist people by force, disregarding basic human rights, their own rules, or severe disability or illness. Tisza has a real program. This is the one they agreed upon with the European Union, the Convergence Program, which means it will be submitted to Brussels. And of course, various fake programs will be made public for the sake of deception. The real program is the one negotiated with Brussels, agreed upon, containing tax increases and otherwise ensuring the long-term financing of Ukraine, and also ensuring Hungarian participation in this program. These are among the options to choose from. In the Ukrainian matter, there was a vote. The Tisza party held a vote where everyone could participate. Obviously, their supporters took part, and a significant majority, nearly 60%, said that the Tisza party should support Ukrainian accession. The president of the Tisza party himself stated that the part of their program that aligns with these decisions is the part of their program, meaning the standpoint that received majority support in the vote. Thus, the support for Ukraine is part of the Tisza party, and the support for Ukraine's EU accession is also part of the Tisza party program. They voted for it. They announced it. The information does not come from us, but from them. We see that this is for Europe from the perspective of both Ukraine's support, even if they might not immediately join the European Union, and their entry into the Union would have a tragic impact. Practically, we are now talking about amounts in relation to the support for Ukraine, which would represent the entire EU budget. If we deduct those mandatory expenditures of a union that are used to repay previous loans, then the total budget is larger, not just support funds, not just cohesion funds, not just agricultural funds, but also they would send the entire cost and main amount to Ukraine. Compared to this, with Ukraine's accession, even Ukrainian agriculture and workers would be imposed on the European Union. The consequences of this are unforeseeable, but are definitely tragic. The Tisza party's agricultural expert would abolish the lock and top.
Recently, an American report was published presenting further evidence that the European Commission intentionally tried to interfere in the latest European Parliament elections, as well as in the local elections of the member states, influencing through social media. What is the minister's opinion on this? And what can the government do to prevent this?
This American government report focuses on the elections after 2023. Because they had gone back 1 year and included 2022, then Hungary would also be in the group where everyone could intervene, including the then American government. Primarily because circles directly connected to the Democrats participated in the illegal financing of the Hungarian left-liberal opposition. So, the rolling dollars primarily came from America. Naturally, similar practices, which give the left-wing liberals an advantage in the use of social media, have also been attempted or applied by the European Commission, according to our knowledge at the time. We believe this is unacceptable. This clearly shows what ailments the European Union suffers from. The European Union is an alliance between states, where the most important entities are the states themselves, and therefore every state has its own sovereign decision regarding who is in the parliament and who governs. These decisions must be respected. Brussels has no connection to this, and such an intervention should not even be attempted. However, since Brussels is a world without consequences, anything can be done, as long as we are unable to unite the national patriotic forces into a majority or at least represent a very serious power. This will not change. But it is indeed true that every intervention of this kind is unacceptable, and today the European Commission takes part in every possible way, using all available means, in the election campaigns of member states and supports leftist liberal forces it favors.
Chancellor Merz made a statement saying that he personally does not consider Ukraine's accession to the European Union with 27 members conceivable. Despite this, do you think the government thinks that the Commission and the other member states will be able to push this through in the next period? Because, you know, the EU Commissioner, the EU Enlargement Commissioner, I've mentioned this 27 date several times.
In fact, it's also included in the Ukrainians' peace plan. As long as Hungary has a national government, Ukraine cannot join the European Union. The decision requires unanimity. Now, the fact that the German Chancellor currently says that from 27, it is not yet deemed appropriate. Although formally this is a form of assistance, Germany is still the strongest state in the European Union. But it does not provide practical assistance in part because the Germans have changed their opinion quite often regarding Ukraine.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.